So today we're diving into an ideal of compassion that's so big it's almost hard to wrap your head around. We're talking about the path of the Bodhisattva, a being whose entire purpose is to help everyone else find liberation. Okay, let's get into it.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What would it actually look like to help everyone, everywhere, all at once? To do it without ever getting tired, without needing a single thank you, and without holding anything back for yourself? It's a question that really pushes the limits of what we imagine is even possible.
Well, it turns out an ancient text, the Avatamsaka Sutra, gives us an answer. And it doesn't just describe this incredible ideal, it actually lays out a kind of roadmap for how someone cultivates this extraordinary state of being. So let's break down these 4 practices. Okay, so the very first practice is the foundation for everything else. It's called the practice of non-attachment, and it's a pretty radical way of looking at how we engage with the world. Now, right away, let's be clear, this has nothing to do with being cold or not caring. It's actually the total opposite. Non-attachment is about a kind of deep, profound freedom. It's the ability to act with all your heart, with total love and commitment, but without being chained to the results, or to what people think, or even to the idea that I am the one doing all this good stuff. The sutra uses some really beautiful, poetic language to get this mindset across. When you can see the temporary, almost dreamlike nature of things, you're freed from all the anxiety and clinging that usually holds us back, right? They can act with so much power and grace because they aren't getting bogged down by it all. And this is a total practice. The text is super clear. They have no attachment to the worlds they're trying to improve, to the teachers they look up to the wisdom they're learning, or even to the very people they are trying to save. It's just this pure, unhindered act of compassion. And it's this freedom that makes the next step even possible. So this next one is called the practice of the rare. You could also call it the difficult to attain practice. And this is where they take that foundation of non-attachment and do something that to us seems totally paradoxical. So to get it, you need to understand this central metaphor. Imagine 2 shores. This shore is our everyday world, the one with struggle and confusion. That's called samsara. And the far shore represents nirvana, a state of total peace, free from all that suffering. Most spiritual paths are about getting from this shore over to that one. But here's where the Bodhisattva just flips the whole thing on its head. They become like a master ferryman. See, they're not just trying to get to the other side and hang out there. They don't get stuck in the confusion of this shore. But, and this is key, they also don't abandon it for the peace of the far shore. They just master the boat, going back and forth, tirelessly helping others get across. And this just perfectly shows their commitment. A bodhisattva doesn't go looking for the easy jobs. The sutra literally says they choose to practice in the most difficult places where people are ungrateful, hostile, and totally lost. And they do this without expecting anything back, not even a simple thank you. That is the practice of the rare. The third practice flows right out of this. It's called the practice of goodness, and it's all about developing the boundless skill and wisdom you need to actually help all these different people in all these different situations. The sutra gives us another one of these gorgeous images. After mastering those first 2 practices, the bodhisattva becomes like the source of relief and clarity for the entire world, like a cool, refreshing pool of water for anyone who's thirsty for wisdom. And their ability to help is, well, limitless. The text says they can show up in any form required. It lists 10 kinds of bodies, like an indestructible body or even a formless one, with each one being perfectly suited to teach a specific person in the exact way they need to hear it. They completely adapt to the needs of others. So what's really crucial here is the sheer scale of this. The sutra describes a scene. Just imagine countless beings, all speaking different languages, all asking completely different questions at the very same time. The bodhisattva hears them all, understands them all, and gives each one a perfect answer, all in a single instant. It's a vision of truly infinite wisdom.
And that brings us to the 4th and final practice, which is really the culmination of this whole path. It's called the practice of truthfulness, and it is the ultimate expression of integrity.
Truthfulness, in this sense, means there is absolutely zero daylight between what is said and what is done. As they speak, they can act. As they act, they can speak. This perfect alignment of their intention, their words, and their deeds gives them the power to make and fulfill the most profound promise you can imagine. And this is it. This is the great vow. They essentially promise that they will not enter their own final peace, their own nirvana, until every single other being has been guided there first. To do otherwise, they say, would be to betray their entire reason for being. It's just the ultimate act of selflessness.
You know, there's a line in the sutra that just nails the motivation behind that vow. It's not a duty, it's not a burden. A bodhisattva's help isn't something you even have to ask for. They act as a friend to all life, spontaneously, simply because that's their nature.
At this point in the sutra, regular prose can't really capture the sheer scale of these practices anymore. So the text actually shifts into verse, into poetry, to try and describe these incredible qualities.
This line from the final poem really brings us full circle, all the way back to that first practice of non-attachment. They help endlessly, but they do it without creating that separation of me, the helper, and you, the one I'm helping. It's just a natural, seamless flow. And the end result of this whole path is just profoundly positive. By acting with this kind of wisdom and selflessness, the bodhisattva becomes a source of courage and joy for the entire world, getting rid of fear and inspiring hope in everyone.
So, after going through this vast, almost superhuman ideal, it kind of leaves us with a question, doesn't it? This vision is immense, for sure, but it's also presented as a path. And any path, no matter how impossibly long it seems, always starts with just one step. So what could our one step be?